Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I'm back and wanted to show you some more knitting, and I hope you like it. It's a rainy day here today, and it's just one of those days where I just want to stay inside and be cozy, and it's Columbus Day, so I don't have to work, so I am definitely enjoying the day off. So, one of my coworkers is having a baby in, well, should be any day now, and I made a little hat for him, but I kind of wanted to make something else also. So I found this pattern for a baby blanket. It's like, it's called Sprout Blanket, and it's got these little leaf patterns on it, which I think will go well with what they're doing for their nursery. And I've got this nice like forest green. It looks kind of brown in the camera, but it's dark green. And I think it'll look really nice. And the pattern's not super challenging either. So I'm just starting it now, just reading over the pattern to make sure that I have everything. Let's see. Okay, so I'm making this pattern on size 7 aluminum needles. It says to use a circular needle to kind of hold the weight of the blanket. I don't have the right size circular needle, so I'm going to see if I can do it on these flat ones, and if it just gets too cramped, I may just either change patterns or go out and buy a needle. Okay, so first I have to cast on, which is starting the project, and this is, I think there's several different ways to cast on. The way that I do it is I like hold the yarn and then I twist it in my fingers to make a little loop, and then just slide it on the needle and pull it till it's tight. So I have to cast on 99 stitches, so this will take a little while. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 72, 70, my fingers are getting clumped, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 80, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, almost there, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. Okay. That took a while, sorry. Okay, then the next thing it says to do is, on the bottom of the blanket, there's going to be like a little, there's a little row on each side that's just a little border of garter stitch. And garter stitch is pretty much the easiest stitch you can do because it's just knitting every single row. You don't have to do anything else. So I can show you. I'll try. Okay, so I'm left-handed, so I'm not sure if I do this backwards from other people or not. So I stick the needle into the hole, and then take the loose string and wrap it around the needle with no stitches on it, and then pull the loop over that needle and slide it off the first needle. I couldn't quite get the camera so that you could see what my hands are doing from my perspective, so I'm sorry. It's hard to see. I'll try to show you again. So I take the needle with no stitches, slide it through the back of the open stitch, take this loose thread, loop it around, and slide it over the second needle and off of the first needle. So there, now we got 2 stitches. So I'll do a few rows. And let's see where we can get. I may fast forward through this part because it's not going to be very interesting. And then I can show you, once I start the actual pattern, I can show you a few different types of stitches. But for now, you can just relax and enjoy the sound of the knitting needles. Get a little closer. I don't know if you guys remember the projects that I showed you in my last video. I was working on a few different things. One of them was a sweater, which is still not done. But the reason for that is that I ran out of the right yarn, and I can't find it anywhere, so I'll probably have to just order some more online. I had enough for the back and the 2 panels in the front, and then like part of one sleeve, but I don't have enough for the rest of that one in the second sleeve, so I can't really pick up a different type of yarn at that point. It would just look bad, so hopefully I can find it. And then I think I was working on a sock. That that one's still not done either. I've just had much more interesting projects come along since then. Just don't have the motivation to start that. And now that it's getting closer to the holiday season, I'm trying to make a lot of presents for people. I've got 2 people that I'm making hats for, and then I think I'm going to make some like slipper socks for my grandma. I think she'll like those. And maybe something for my mom too, I'm not sure what yet. Maybe, she's very practical, so maybe something practical like a dish towel or something like that. I think she'd appreciate that. And I was working on those little stuffed unicorns for the twin girls, and I finished those. That was a fun project, and the girls loved them. They wanted to play with them all day, and their mom told me later that they were one of their favorite toys, so I was really happy to hear that. It's really nice to know that your gifts are appreciated, especially when it's something you made yourself. And since then, I made a little hat for my coworker's soon-to-be son. It's a little bear. I got this really soft, fuzzy brown yarn, and I think it turned out pretty well. Hopefully it'll fit. Let's see. I know I made something else too. I don't remember what. I'd like to make some mittens, hopefully. I need to get better at switching colors. That's something that I still don't really know how to do very well. So I'd like to do some cool patterns, or maybe some, like a picture on a pair of mittens. I think that'd be cool. So I've just finished the first row, and untwist it. It's pretty crammed on this needle, but I think it'll be alright. So you can see there's our little project. It's just starting out, but I think what I'll do is I will knit the next 13 rows of this, because it's all just the same. And then I will come back and show you, when I start doing the pattern, I'll show you what that starts to look like, because I can show you some different stitches then. Okay. Hey guys, I'm back. So I knit 13 rows, and I'm on the last knitting row at the moment, almost done. Well, not really. About a third of the way done with this row. And I was trying all sorts of different setups that would let you get a better view of what I'm doing. But I don't have a little tripod, and I was just having a very difficult time getting it stable while also allowing me to move my hands freely. So if anybody has any suggestions, please let me know. I definitely would like for you to be able to see what I'm doing from the other side. But I just put on a movie and relaxed relax for a bit while I was doing these. I have a house to myself, which is nice. Not that I really do anything that different when I'm alone versus when there's people here, but just knowing that it's quiet and I can do whatever I want is really nice. And it doesn't happen often because usually at least somebody else is home. So definitely enjoying this. And I accidentally made a mistake on the second row that I was doing. I did the wrong kind of stitch. Usually you don't do the garter stitch, which is what I'm doing right now, very often. Usually you do what's called stockinette stitch, which is knit one row and purl one row, and that gives a different kind of look than this one. These stitches, this is what they look like when they're in garter stitch, and I don't really have an example of something with me that's in stockinette, but it just looks different. So I was so used to doing that stitch that I did the wrong type of, I started purling on the second one instead of knitting, so I tried to rip it out and start over again, but that's okay. Didn't take too long. Okay, almost done. Just a few more stitches. Alright, so now I can move on to the fun part, the pattern. I'm glad this part was not the most exciting. So let's take a look at the pattern. And whoever wrote this pattern, she gave me the pattern in two different ways. She wrote out all the stitches, so row by row what to do, and then she also included a chart which looks like this, and some people prefer this because it's easier to look at, and it just shows you like each square has a different mark or color in it, and there's a key in the beginning that shows you what the marks mean. I typically don't like charts as much. Sometimes I do use them, but I don't think I will this time. I think I'll use the line by line pattern. So the first row says knit 9 stitches, so that's to make a little border. That'll be around this edge. So we'll do the same stitch that we did before. So I put the needle through the back of the first loop and wrap the free yarn around the second needle. Pull the first needle above the second and slide the stitch off the first needle so that it's just on the second. And I'll do that 8 more times. 2, 9. Okay. And next, I need to place a marker. So, a lot of patterns use stitch markers to show where a certain part of the pattern starts. So that helps you keep track of where you are. So I keep my stitch markers along with some other odds and ends. I don't need measuring tape. I'll need, I think, 4 stitch markers for this. So I think I'm going to use, I like these ones because these are called, I think they're called open stitch markers. There's a name for them, I don't know if that's it. But the benefit of these is that I can close them, or if I need to move them, I can open them. Whereas with certain ones that are just a loop, you can't move them unless you knit to that part of the pattern. So if I would need to move this, if I put it in the wrong place, for instance, then I can just unhook it, even if it's in the middle of the row. So I'm going to use these. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so I'll place the marker, and now it says purl 13. So a purl is like a backwards knit stitch. So first thing I have to do is move the yarn. Currently it's in, from my perspective, it's in the back, so I need to flip it so that it's in the front. And I take the second needle, I put it through the front of the yarn on the first needle, in front of the stitch, which is opposite of what we did when we were knitting. I take the free yarn in the front, loop it around the second needle, which is in the front, push that needle through the loop, and slide it off the first needle. Okay, so that's 1 purl, and I need 13, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. And next I need to, it says M1, which means make 1 knit stitch. So I think there's a few different ways to do this. I think the way that, let's see, I'm going to do some research. I want to make sure I do the right stitch here, so hold on just a second. Okay, that didn't take long. I found on the previous page of the pattern, they describe how to make one. So there's a few different ways to make, to add stitches in the middle of a row, and I just wanted to make sure I was using the right method. So this says, using the left needle tip, lift up the strand of the yarn between the needles from front to back, making a loop on the left needle. Make a new stitch by knitting into the back of this loop. So I'm going to take my left needle and pick up this, this stitch in the middle. Let's see. Yeah. And then I'm going to knit that stitch. So there, we just added a stitch to the row. Okay. And hopefully that turns out okay. And then I knit one, make another one. I'm still not a beginner, but definitely not an expert at this, so excuse me if I'm still learning some things. Okay, now I have to purl 13 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So now I have to do that same pattern 2 more times. So first, place my marker, purl 13, okay, make 1 stitch, knit 1, 1 stitch, oops. I think I'm a little anxious because I've been knitting very tight this blanket, which usually means I'm stressed out about something. So knitting is good though because it helps me relax. It's very soothing. So hopefully whatever is on my mind will be soothed, calmed soon. I love it because I can do other things while I'm doing it. So I can watch a movie that I've been wanting to watch, or ride in the car. I just went on a big trip to see my brother at college. And it was, went with my parents. It was 2 hours in the car each way, and we spent a lot of time talking and knitting and stuff, so that was really nice. And now I've lost track of my count. Okay. 10, 11, 13. Okay. One more time, and then I can do the rest of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. Let me stretch it out a bit. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. Okay. And then the rest is very easy. Just place my marker. And I'll knit the last 9 to make the border. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, 8, 9. Okay, so there we made the first row of the pattern. And looks like the other rows are pretty similar. So next row, instead of purling, I'll be knitting for those parts where I was purling 13, I'll knit 13. So then that part will show the stockinette stitch. So maybe I will, let's see how long this is. I have time for one more, I think. I don't know. Just so I can show you how it alternates. Okay, so I'll knit 9 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I move the marker over. Now I'm going to knit 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then purl 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I knit 13 more. And I do that 3 times. And these stitch markers are nice because once I reach one, I know I've reached the end of that cycle. So if the stitch is matched up, then I know I'm doing it right. now that we've ended 2 rows of the pattern, if we look closely, we can start to see the difference. So, if you look very closely right here, you can see a little ridge. That's where our border's ending. And there's 2 rows up here that look a little bit different. And so these rows are stockinette because they were purl 1 row, knit 1 row. These rows are garter because they were knit, knit, knit. And then at the end, kind of see right where the stitch marker is, that's where our border will start on this edge. So I'm sure this project will take me a little while. So maybe I can show you how it's coming in a little bit. And if I get to a more interesting part of the pattern, maybe partway up the leaves, I can show you that as well. Okay. Well, let me put a little stop on the end so the web doesn't fall off if I want to take it somewhere. Okay. One for both. It's a little ball of yarn, I don't know if you can tell. It's cute. Okay, so I'll be working on this. I have to take my mom to the doctor tomorrow, so I'll have a few hours, I think, of waiting for her in the waiting room, so maybe I can do that and get some more work done on there. I just have one last thing that I thought might be nice. Okay, I had one more thing I wanted to show you guys, that I thought might be a nice way to end the video. I was at the craft store getting some yarn for a couple of projects, and they had a bunch of cards on sale, and I saw these ones which I thought were really cute. It was $1 for this pack of 6 cards, with a little owl on it. So I just thought I would I am not one to write cards often, but I was thinking I have a friend who I haven't seen in a while, and I thought it might be a nice way to let her know I was thinking about her. So I think I'll just write a quick card to her. It's nice and blank on the inside, so there's room for a lot. Think of what to say. sharp address. She just moved recently, so I'll have to find out. But I can just put it here. I just need a stamp, address, and it'll be all ready. Okay, well, that's all I have for you guys today, but I have another possible video planned, and hopefully I can make some progress on this blanket. Show you guys soon.